Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I am your host, and today we are getting into something a little different. Usually when we talk about a major medical revolution, we're picturing a massive research hospital or some giant pharmaceutical lab.
Right, with people in hazmat suits walking around.
Uh-huh.
I'm your resident practice management expert, and yeah, we tend to think innovation only trickles down from the ivory tower.
Exactly. Not up from the grassroots. Definitely not from the strip mall down the street next to the dry cleaner.
Definitely not.
But today, we have this stack of audio recordings. It is literally hours of fly-on-the-wall tape from inside a single independent orthodontic practice.
Run by Dr. Marty.
Run by Dr. Marty. And after listening to this audio, I have to say, it sounds way less like a traditional dentist's office and a lot more like a tech startup that just happens to fix teeth.
It really does, and I think that's the core mission for our deep dive today. We're not just talking about braces here, we're looking at a dual revolution happening in real time.
A dual revolution.
Yeah. On one side, you have this complete reimagining of the biology. They are moving away from just, straightening teeth, and they are actually reconstructing airways and jaw structures using 3D tech.
Which is fascinating on its own.
It is. But then on the other side, you have this massive operational revolution. This single doctor is using AI and automation to build a business infrastructure that, 5 years ago would have required an entire C-suite executive team.
It's wild.
It's a perfect case study in leverage. How does one person use technology to actually compete with those massive corporate healthcare chains? The answer is right here in these tapes.
So let's start right where the action is, out on the clinic floor. The tapes introduce us to a specific patient named Colin.
Right.
He's an 11-year-old boy, plays football, sounds like a really great kid. But medically, he is in a pretty tough spot.
A very specific, very difficult spot. Dr. Marty notes on the tape that Colin has a 12-millimeter overjet.
12 millimeters. Now, I know what an overjet is generally, but give us some context. Is that a lot?
It is enormous. Just for context, a normal overjet, which is the horizontal distance between your top front teeth and your bottom teeth, that's maybe 2 or 3 millimeters.
Okay, so 12 is...
12 is profound. It's what we colloquially call buck teeth, but clinically speaking, it is a severe skeletal discrepancy. His lower jaw is significantly underdeveloped compared to his top jaw.
And the recordings capture the mother's anxiety perfectly. She has already been through the ringer with this.
Oh, yeah.
She's seen 2 other doctors before coming to Dr. Marty. One of them suggested breaking the jaw surgically later in life.
Wow.
And the other suggested pulling 4 permanent teeth to basically make room and retract those front teeth back.
And that right there, that is the old world of orthodontics. It is a very subtractive philosophy. If things don't fit, just take stuff out. If the jaw is too far back, break it, screw it back together.
That sounds medieval.
Well, it's effective, sure, but it is incredibly aggressive.
And terrifying for a parent of an 11-year-old. But Dr. Marty takes a look, and he goes in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even start by looking at the teeth.
No, he doesn't.
He starts with this machine that he is clearly obsessed with. He calls it the green CT.
Yes. This is the first piece of superpower tech we see him use, because a traditional X-ray, it's 2D, it's flat.
Right.
You can't see depth. But a CBCT, which is cone beam computed tomography, that gives you a full 3D volume of the entire head. And because it's green, it does this with ultra-low radiation.
Which is a massive factor when you are scanning a growing kid.
Absolutely.
So he spins this 3D model around on the screen for the mom, and he zooms in on the throat, not the mouth, the throat.
Yeah.
And he uses this description, which I'll never forget. He calls the adenoids massive and juicy.
Yeah, that was memorable.
It's honestly a gross description, but it really paints a picture.
It's visceral, but clinically, it's the smoking gun. On the visualization, the airway, which should be a nice open column of air, usually shows up as this healthy blue or green volume. But Colin's airway looks red and constricted. It's skinny.
And Dr. Marty points this out to the mom. He is directly connecting the dots between a blocked nose and those buck teeth.
Yes.
This is the real aha moment for me in the research.
Yeah.
Because I think most people assume you have buck teeth because of bad luck. Genetics.
Yeah.
Or maybe you sucked your thumb too long.
Right. That's a common assumption.
But Dr. Marty is arguing there is a functional cause rooted entirely in how this kid is breathing.
It is a cascade of failure. Think about it. Colin has these juicy adenoids totally blocking his nasal passage. He physically cannot breathe through his nose.
So he has to become a mouth breather just to survive.
Exactly.
Okay, but how does breathing through your mouth actually change the shape of your facial bones? That seems like a stretch.
It's all about the tum. When you breathe through your nose naturally, your mouth is closed, and your tongue rests up on the roof of your mouth. It pushes out against the upper teeth. It acts as a natural scaffold or like an expander for the upper jaw.
So the tongue is basically a living retainer constantly pushing the jaw wide.
That is exactly what it is. But when you mouth breathe, the tongue has to drop down to the floor of the mouth to let the air come in.
Oh, wow.
And when the tongue drops, the cheek muscles push in. There's no counter pressure, so the upper jaw collapses and narrows. It becomes tapered.
So the buck teeth aren't actually the root problem at all. They're just a symptom.
Precisely.
The actual problem is that the kid can't breathe, so his face is literally warping as he grows.
That's it. If you just pull 4 teeth and retract the front ones back, like those other doctors suggested, you might make the smile look straight, but you haven't solved the breathing issue.
You might even make it worse.
You definitely might. You could make the airway even smaller by pulling everything back into that throat space. Dr. Marty's philosophy is what they call airway-centric.
So he wants to expand the jaw and bring the lower jaw forward to open up that throat space.
Right.
Okay, so we aren't pulling teeth. We aren't breaking jaws. How do you actually get a lower jaw to just grow forward?
Well, he proposes something called angel aligners.
Now, I've heard of Invisalign, obviously.
Yeah.
But what exactly is an angel aligner?
This is where the specific technology really matters. Angel aligners are a competitor in the clear aligner market, but Dr. Marty specifically chooses them for this case because of a feature called mandibular advancement blocks.
Mandibular advancement blocks. That sounds like a part for my car's transmission.
It does, but it's a really clever bit of engineering. Imagine you have your standard clear plastic trays on the top and bottom teeth.
Sure.
Molded right into the sides of these trays back near the molars are these solid plastic ramps. They actually stick out of the plastic.
Okay, so they're like little speed bumps on the side of the tray.
Sort of, yeah. And the way they are angled, when Colin bites down, the ramps on the top tray hit the ramps on the bottom tray.
Do they lock together? Because that sounds awful and claustrophobic.
No, they don't lock, they glide. But the geometry of those ramps forces his lower jaw to slide forward. It is literally the only way he can bite down comfortably.
So he is constantly posturing his chin forward just to close his mouth.
Exactly. And because he's 11, and this is the really crucial part, he is in an active growth phase. By holding the jaw in that forward position for 22 hours a day, the body adapts to it.
Well, it remodels.
Right. The condyle, which is the joint of the jaw, actually remodels and grows into that new forward position. You are essentially tricking the body into fixing a skeletal defect using plastic ramps.
Which is wildly better than the alternatives he mentions on the tape.
Yeah.
He talks about pistons or metal springs installed inside the mouth.
Or headgear. Remember headgear?
Vaguely and with absolute terror. I feel like that was a rite of passage for every kid in the 80s. The strap around the neck.
Oh, yeah. And no 11-year-old boy wants to wear headgear to middle school. The angel liners are clear. They're basically invisible. But, and this is the huge caveat that Dr. Marty hammers home during the consult, they are removable.
Ugh, compliance. The Achilles heel of any removable orthodontic. If the kid takes them out, all the magic stops.
It is the single point of failure. And there's a recording of another patient on the tapes, Preston. And this interaction is just classic. Preston has been on tray 5 for weeks. He isn't progressing at all.
And his excuse is amazing. Moving boxes.
Moving boxes, right. He says to Dr. Marty, oh, things got misplaced during a move. But Dr. Marty does not buy it for a second. He calls it interactive orthodontics.
I love that phrase.
He tells Preston straight up, dude, if the trays are in a box, your teeth aren't moving.
It's a total shift in responsibility. With traditional braces, the doctor does all the work. The braces are glued on. You just show up to your appointments.
Exactly.
But with aligners, the patient does the work.
And that's the trade-off. You get way better hygiene because you can take them out to brush and white spots left on the teeth, and you have zero diet restrictions.
Eat whatever you want.
Right. But you have to be responsible enough to actually wear the plastic 22 hours a day.
It's interesting, though. Dr. Marty seems totally willing to take that compliance risk on the patient because the health payoff, that airway improvement, is just so high. He prioritizes the biological outcome over the convenience of set-it-and-forget-it braces.
That is his clinical philosophy in a nutshell. But here's the thing. Managing hundreds of these interactive patients, tracking their growth, monitoring if they are actually compliant, that creates a massive administrative burden.
Which brings us perfectly to the second revolution happening in this office. And I honestly think this is where the story gets really unique. We leave the clinic chair and we go to the back office.
Right.
You hear the hum of computers, and Dr. Marty is huddled around a screen with his staff, Lacey and Katie. And he is absolutely raving about Claude.
This is where the fly-on-the-wall audio gets so fascinating. You are hearing a doctor, not some Silicon Valley computer scientist, treat an AI model like a senior partner in his firm.
He explicitly calls it a superpower. He says gives them leverage. And he isn't just using it to write polite emails to patients. He is using it to run the business.
The range of tasks they throw at it is staggering. In one clip, he's talking about how Claude fixed a broken snippet of code on their website.
Yeah.
In the next clip, he's using it to brainstorm creative ideas for a dragon contest marketing campaign for the kids.
But the real game changer, the thing that stood out, is the business intelligence aspect.
Oh, totally.
This part blew my mind. He's creating financial dashboards.
Yes.
Wow.
He feeds the AI raw data, anonymized data, obviously, from their practice management software, just rows and rows of ugly spreadsheet numbers, and he asks Claude to visualize the overall health of the business.
Collections, net income, cash on hand, average case fees.
And you can hear the pure surprise in his voice on the tape. He's looking at this really pretty report that the AI generated in seconds. He didn't have to hire a data analyst. He didn't spend hours building pivot tables. He just asked the chatbot.
Think about what that used to take for a small business. You'd need an expensive consultant, or you'd need to be an Excel wizard spending your whole Sunday crunching numbers in the back room.
Exactly. Now he just asks Claude, and the insight he gets is immediate. For example, he sees on this dashboard that Google leads are generating $115,000 in treatment plans.
And specifically, adult patients coming from Google.
Right. And he realizes right then and there, wow, we need to completely change how we view adult patients in our marketing.
That is high-level strategic agility. He is pivoting his entire business strategy based on data that was literally invisible to him 5 minutes prior.
That is exactly what he means by leverage. It democratizes the kind of analytics that usually only the big corporate chains have access to. The big guys have departments for this. He has a tab open on his browser.
It's a theme of visibility, isn't it? Out in the clinic, he uses the 3D CBCT to see the invisible airway. And in the back office, he uses AI to see the invisible trends in his bank account.
That is a great way to put it. It's a diagnostic tool on both fronts.
But they aren't just analyzing the past. They are actively building systems to handle the future. They spend a lot of time talking about an auto follow-up hub.
Right.
And this part felt a little, well, it's the part everyone fears about AI in healthcare. Is it going to feel robotic?
It's the reality of modern volume. They have all these leads coming in, people who inquired via the website but then just ghosted. You can't pay a front desk receptionist to manually call 500 people who probably won't pick up the phone anyway.
So they're building an automation sequence.
It's a complex mix of texts and emails, send over intervals, wait a day, send a text, wait a month, send an email. But listening to them design it, they are hyper aware of the annoyance factor.
They really are. They discuss what they call the breakup text.
Yes.
It's the final message in the sequence that basically says, hey, we won't bug you anymore, but we're here if you ever need us.
That is smart psychology. It closes the loop without burning the bridge with the patient.
However, we also hear the glitches on the tape. And this is where the superpower hits a bit of a snag. There's a moment where the staff realizes the AI is pulling the wrong variable for the texts.
The name variable. This is a classic coding error.
Right. The system is sending texts to the parents' phones, but it's addressing them by the child's name.
Yeah.
So you get a text saying, hey, Timmy, you missed your appointment. But Timmy is 6 years old. He doesn't have an iPhone. So the mom gets it and immediately thinks, this is a robot. They don't even know who I am.
And that destroys the trust instantly. In healthcare, personal touch is the absolute currency. If you feel like you are just being processed by a bot, you leave. So you hear them troubleshooting this in real time on the recording.
They're saying, can we change the prompt to say parent name? Or can we just make it generic?
It shows that AI isn't magic. It requires what they call a human in the loop. You need someone like Dr. Marty or Lacey to audit the robot constantly.
That's a crucial takeaway for you listening. The AI provides the scale. It can send those 500 texts instantly, but the human has to provide the nuance. Dr. Marty isn't replacing his staff with AI. He's augmenting them.
Exactly. He wants the AI to do all the grunt work so his actual staff can focus their energy on the human beings walking into the office.
And that focus on the people really shines through when they get into their philosophy discussions. Because despite all the computer screens and the bots and the 3D scans, Dr. Marty seems pretty old school about one core thing, and that is health.
He has a great line on the tape. He tells a parent straight teeth are a luxury, but healthy teeth you gotta have.
And he walks the walk. There's a case discussion about a kid with terrible hygiene. He has pinhole cavities starting to form all over his teeth, and Dr. Marty outright refuses to start the orthodontic treatment.
A lot of those corporate mills, and we actually hear the staff gossip a bit about the corporate chains, they would just slap the braces on to get the billing cycle started. Who cares if the teeth rot underneath, as long as the check clears, right?
Yeah.
But Dr. Marty says no. He tells them, I can't put braces on this kid until he wiggles out those last baby teeth and learns to brush better, because the braces will just cause more cavities.
They actually talk about a specific dental chain nightmare scenario. A family came to Dr. Marty because their previous orthodontist at a corporate office down the road just vanished.
Moved to Orlando.
Left the patients entirely stranded mid-treatment.
It's a total horror story for a patient. But it really highlights the fragility of that corporate model. In those big chains, the doctor is just an employee. They can be transferred. They can quit.
But Dr. Marty is the owner.
He's the Providence orthodontist. He is rooted in that community.
But here is the paradox. How does he maintain that local doctor, personalized feel while handling corporate-level patient volume? If he's growing the business so fast with AI, doesn't he inevitably get too busy to care?
This is where the final piece of tech comes in. They call it the grin scope.
Is that exactly what it sounds like? A scope for your grin.
Pretty much. And it ties right back to the angel aligners we talked about earlier. Think about it. If you have hundreds of patients in clear aligners and you want to be the attentive local guy, you can't actually see all of them in person every 4 weeks to check their progress. You would drown in appointments.
Right. There just aren't enough hours in the day.
So the grin scope is a remote monitoring tool.
It's a little lens attachment that clips onto the patient's smartphone, right?
Correct. The patient snaps a span of their own mouth at home. The AI analyzes the video scan, checks if the teeth are tracking with the trays, checks if the hygiene is good, and then uploads all of that to Dr. Marty's dashboard.
So he can just look at his screen in the morning and say, okay, Preston's actually wearing his trays this week. He's good. Or, uh-oh, Colin's tooth isn't moving right. Let's call him and bring him in.
The audio mentions that this single piece of tech cuts their in-office visits by half.
By half. That is massive efficiency.
That is how you scale the personal touch. You use technology to filter out the routine, everything is fine checkups, so you can spend your actual valuable face-to-face time on the complex cases that need you.
It really is a fascinating ecosystem he has built in this strip mall. You have the CBCT seeing the airway, you have the angel aligners physically growing the jaw, the grin scope monitoring the progress remotely, and Claude the AI managing the cash flow and the marketing.
And the common thread running through all of it is empowerment. He is using tech to see things that were previously hidden and to do things that were previously impossible for a solo operation.
It completely challenges the narrative that the small-town doctor is a dying breed. We always hear that independent practices can't survive the consolidation, that they can't compete on price or efficiency with the giants.
Dr. Marty is proving that with the right tool stack, they can actually outperform the giants. The corporate chains move slow, they have bureaucracy, lots of it. But Dr. Marty can rewrite his website code on a Tuesday morning because Claude told him how to fix it. He can adopt a brand new airway protocol tomorrow because he read the latest research.
He is incredibly agile.
He's agile and he's fully leveraged. It really suggests we might be entering a golden age for the independent, personalized healthcare provider. The barrier to entry for operational excellence has basically collapsed. You don't need a massive IT department anymore. You just need curiosity and a $20 subscription to an LLM.
That is the key word, curiosity. Listening to him on the tapes, he is clearly having fun with it. He isn't afraid of the tech displacing him.
And because he isn't afraid of it, his patients, little Colin with a 12mm overjet, they are getting world-class airway-saving care right there in their neighborhood.
It leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to end on today. If these tools, the AI, the 3D imaging, the automation, if they are available to anyone with a Wi-Fi connection, if this one guy in a strip mall can provide this high level of care and efficiency, what should you be demanding from the rest of your healthcare providers? What is the excuse for mediocrity anymore?
Honestly, there isn't one. If a small practice can operate at this level, the standard has been raised for everyone.
Well, I am certainly going to look at my own dentist's office a little differently next time I go, and I'll be checking the corners for the green CT.
And maybe asking if they have an AI named Claude running the back office.
Exactly. Thank you all for taking this deep dive with us. It is wild what you can learn from being a fly on the wall. We will catch you next time.